I just want to make a really quick video, explain what I think is basically going on with the market. I know a lot of people are pretty confused and worried. The floor is not really existent much more. Alts are pretty much going into inverse price discovery, as I've heard some other people say. There's just nothing but air, really. There's like not much support left. But basically what I see here, I know people are getting their hopes up there on the lower time frame when we had this little bit of a bump off of those lows. It seems like we're holding support, but I want to just explain what I think is going to happen. Basically this is around the 20th there. We had that craziness from the news, but most charts basically look like this. So they had that craziness there. They kind of came down and sort of consolidated there before the big drop. A little bit of a rebound, and then they just dropped again. A lot of people really lost a lot of hope there. Kind of made its way back up quite strongly from that low. Quite a lot of buying, actually. That was great, everybody thought. If you bought at the low there and sold up either there at the first kind of level just before retaking the previous level where it dropped, then you did pretty good. If you caught it exactly, then you did even better. If you were holding there, expecting for a reclaim of between here and maybe this level previously, then you are pretty pissed right now that we just basically went right back to the absolute bottom baseline support there. What I think is happening probably from here, I do not expect us to just come right back up to that top level again. I think if you look at this chart, you can kind of see there's this new kind of, this is very low time frame, but this is what this kind of consolidation, this level in around here is kind of forming. If we do not break this level and return back up to this previous level, then I think what probably more likely happens is we just kind of bounce around in here for a little bit. We've got futures opening up Sunday evening coming up very soon. I do not see a big breakout before the futures open up. Most likely the futures open and they are pretty negative, pretty bad. The Trump made the new tariffs over the weekend, basically, so the futures are going to be opening up with that new information, and it's very unlikely that's going to be good news. So I'm expecting futures to be drop into the negatives from where they closed out on the Friday after hours. So that more likely we bounce around in here, and then I would say there's a chance of us breaking through this range and testing some sort of lower level here. This is not just for this coin, not just for this ticker. Basically, if you look at all charts, basically look like this right now. I'll look at another one where several actually tickers have already broken down here, so I think they're already going to be ranging around in this kind of new lower level, just one notch down from this level. But yeah, that's basically what I think is going to happen. If we go to ARB, for example, how can I get to ARB? If we look at ARB, for example, so ARB has basically already, it's pretty much the same thing. Except, so yeah, same thing. We had that, and then we had the consolidation, which when we get this consolidation, then it's either going to break out one way or the other. It broke lower, tried to recover. A lot of people very unhappy. It went even lower than that low, ARB for this example, and then built back up quite strongly because that was quite low. That's like 58 sense. So some prices are getting really kind of irresistible at these points, but I think you still got to be really, really careful and take profits. When you come back up to like matching where the previous drop was, that's a really good place to take your first profits. If you don't want to take 100%, then you would probably, I would say, is taking at least 50%, if not 70% there, because it can break through that resistance and move off to maybe the next level of resistance, which could be either there or here kind of thing. But the chances of that happening get less and less as you go up, right? The greatest chance is that you're going to come into this range, recover that range, right? So lowest risk, you get out just before that. A little bit higher risk, you try and match it pretty much exactly, and then less and less chance as you get up above that. But that didn't happen, right? So basically, that's why you should take profits at this point, because it retraced. It not only just retraced, it actually went below. So it broke that previous low, went to a lower low, and again, I think it's the same thing. Basically, we're probably going to consolidate somewhere in this range. It tried to bounce back up, didn't even make it halfway up, and then it's already now retracing back down. So I think there's going to be some kind of consolidation in here. Again, futures open, and it could break even lower. So that's even lower than the other coins that have maintained this kind of range. And then we'll see. We'll just have to see Monday, basically. As most of you should know, the crypto market is largely dictated by traditional finance at this point. You got to be watching the futures, S&P and NASDAQ futures, like a hawk, because they are definitely dictating crypto prices. So if you don't know how to do that, you can get that on TradingView. You don't have to pay for a subscription to get that. What you can do is you want just cash futures. So there's several of those. Personally, I use 8cap, SPX 500. And then right now I'm using Oanda as my two main cash futures for SPX and Nova. Otherwise, you usually have to pay. But cash futures basically trace exactly the same as the traditional futures. Price action is exactly the same, and these two give you volume information as well. But yeah, that's kind of just an extra tip there. If you're not tracking that, that's what you should be definitely tracking. Sunday night EST time, 5 or 6 p.m. Those will open, and that's going to really be the determining point as we go into what's going to be the next level, basically. So which way we're going to go from there, as I said earlier, with whether we break lower from this range or whether we start building back up from that range. So we will have to see. Unfortunately, it's not really in our control. The things that could make it break up as well could be if Bitcoin is the other, of course, main factor of how the crypto market moves. If Bitcoin starts to break, I would say you can kind of, just looking at the chart, you can kind of see one major area there, and then maybe another one right about here, right? That's a pretty major area there, right? So if Bitcoin, see, you can see already, like on the low time frame, it made it up to there and then came back down. So it did not have the gas or the fuel to make it break through there right now. So that's already not looking very good. But if it were to make its way up above that, and I think alts would start going pretty hard at that point. Alts were already moving up as Bitcoin was approaching this area. If it breaks through that and then even maybe starts working on the next area, then we could see a pretty nice rebound in alts. I just don't really see that happening before the Monday futures open. There's really no reason for it to happen, but in the crypto market, things happen for no reason all the time. There's many factors, possibly just bent up buying demand. Basically, people just are getting sick of the downtrending and the selling pressure, and the prices just look so good, and they just kind of have had enough, and that can already, we hit these kind of super low prices, objectively super low prices, which of course at different levels it's different price levels, and then people just kind of all get the same idea at the same time, and you can get this really strong rebound. So stuff like that happens without very much reason, except for just kind of philosophical, psychological reasons as to why things might flip like that. So it is possible, but kind of unlikely. We'll have to see. Anyways, that's my views of where we're going in the next kind of near term, which I think is pretty critical point we're at right now. I mean, we're hovering Bitcoin just above the 99,000 mark, and not really much support below that. We could get down to the 98 level. There's lots of levels before it starts to break into really seriously low worrying territories, I would say, which would be, for me, would be below 97. We're getting that's quite concerning. Like from 97 and lower, maybe it stops at 95, maybe it stops at 92. I mean, you don't really even know at that point anymore. So yeah, I don't really want to see that. I'd like to see, the bulls would like to see, I don't really care, I'm not really bullish or bearish, but if you're hoping for a rebound back up, if you're hoping for a strong rebound, you definitely want to see it basically here around the 99, or definitely you want to see it at the 98. That's kind of big last stand. If it breaks that, then it's scary. From that point lower, it's not really clear, as I said. Yeah, so let's just see. Just hopefully that helps some people that are kind of really unsure right now. It is an unsure time. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to wait. But those are the kind of key factors that I think you should be looking for in the next, like 24 hours or so before futures open, and watching those levels, and where you're going to be positioning yourselves if you want to be buying in. Like if you're thinking about, buying in to, for example, our, if you didn't catch that 56, I think it's too late. Like, if you bought here, like it's already retraced back down. That was not the place to buy, thinking it was going to go back up to here. You basically either got in at this new kind of range low, or that's it. You could even have shorted there and come back down to this, which it did do, right? Buying here, hoping for it to go to the top of this range, is totally reasonable. Buying in the middle of this range is just a really bad idea right now. I wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't touch it. If you miss that chance, it's gone. Too late. Forget it. That's the way it goes in trading. You got to just move on. Wait for the next high probability play, basically. So, and the same if we looked at TIA, was the same. TIA was holding structure a little bit better, holding that nice line better. But yeah, if you missed that entry, too late. Which was about 3.8 or whatever, right? Was the baseline of this new very local range. I would not be buying near these tops right now, because I think it bounced off there. That's exactly what it did, exactly what I would expect, and it's probably just going to mess around in this range. So if you're cool with that, and cool with just watching you go into slight negative, slight positive, and then maybe breaking out of that range, but it's also maybe going to break lower out of that range. So I think this is just a very bad place right now. You got to be waiting probably, or very bottom, then at least you're going to be in positive. If things don't look good, you can close out in the positive before entry. That's not very bad. You're taking a very small risk at that point, I think. And then you can cut with maybe no loss at all or slight profit, right? But if you're in the higher end of this range, you're probably going to be in loss for sure. Very, very soon. You would have been had you bought up there. It's already below that. Yeah, just not what I would prefer. Not the kind of play I would prefer to do. I prefer to try and get in the best possible entry and where the probability is the best in your favor. And if you have to cut, then you cut in profit. And you cut soon, because you don't pray or wish or hope. If it doesn't look good, then you're out. That's it. You wait for the next entry. That's the way I play things. I think it's safest. I know a lot of people do a lot longer kind of term plays than I do, but I think crypto market is too crazy for that. And it's harder. You got to be more on the ball. You got to be more technical about it. But I just think that's the way to do it with crypto. Yeah, most of the time that's the way to do it with crypto. I think that's the least amount of risk and the highest success for me. Anyways, I'm gonna stop there. I think that should cover about everything. Hopefully that cleared things up for people a little bit. Good luck. Let's see what futures open like. Let's see what Monday brings. Take care.